morning, ma'am.
Good morning, Shafi. So, like sir has mentioned that today there would be no recap because he would be giving the feedback on yesterday's presentations. But we shall have recap tomorrow as he would be adding more inputs to, I am sure, on the matter as well. तो कल उमामा जहीर और मुजम्मिल अहमद भट्टी. I shall also update the schedule. So you both have to prepare for tomorrow's recap. Umama, are you there? Muzammil, are you there?
Yes, ma'am.
ठीक है, okay. Because I'm sure more inputs will be added today, so आप लोग उनको 5 minutes का कल prepare कर लीजिएगा.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay.
Ma'am, when will sir brief about work of a manager's assignment?
Yes, I have mentioned that to him. We discussed about it, and that is why I posted those 2 articles. So first you go through those articles, and then we shall discuss about that too, and we will also give the last date to submit the assignment. Okay, so that will be taken care of. Don't worry.
Thank you.
Go through those 2 articles because that will help you understand the managerial role. So Kamran, are you back? Because you said after 21st you will be back. So all that happened that you had to go for some training and. Pervez has joined.
Assalamualaikum. So today we will start with the analysis of yesterday's presentations. So we started with the class recap yesterday, and Mirza Mujid Iftikhar and Afra Malik, they made the presentation. So in fact, when we take a business communication course in the next semester, inshallah, we will be talking about elements of effective communication in greater detail. But during the course of these presentations also, I will be making a mention of many dimensions. For example, one of the dimensions of communication is correctness. Correctness in terms of the idea, correctness in terms of the language that we use. So both the things are important. For example, Afra, you made a point that Sir Sayyed's idea was to start an English medium education. Now this idea is only partially correct. Sir Sayyed intended to, yes, educate the people as per the educational setup of that has been evolved by Britishers. He was impressed by Oxford, he was impressed by Cambridge. But his idea was not to have English medium education. Yes, he selected English medium for his college as a medium of instruction finally. That's besides the point. So, as I said, this idea is only partially correct, isn't it? So, we have to be very correct in terms of idea. His idea was to, yes, talim and tarbiyat, educate and, bring those sanskar in people that help them, lead a full and rich life. So, likewise, for example, Mirza, when this issue of correctness becomes extremely important when we take up a slightly sensitive issue. For example, when you are comparing the Sir Sayyid's approach to things versus Mehdi Mia's approach to things. Now, there we have to be very, very guarded in the choice of the language. Okay, what will happen is, if we show one in poor light in comparison to other, we will be doing justice to both the stalwarts, isn't it? So we have to be, for example, if you recall, Mirza Mujid, are you there? Mirza Mujid? I see him on the screen, but is he present? Afra, let us focus on your performance. How do you feel about your own performance?
Sir, I missed some of the points which I have thought that I would speak. And so in communicating wise, I think you are better judge.
No. Yes, we are also a very good judge of our performance because, for example, when I engage a class, after the class, I know whether I have lived up to my own expectations or not, isn't it? So, it is good to get the feedback and use others as a kind of sounding board to our ideas, but the core ideas of our own. So you have your share of strength. You are very good in terms of your language use, very effective on that account. Your body language is also very effective. So, and I think overall you did a good job, except for that part which I have highlighted.
Thank you, sir.
That maybe the idea there could have been more correct. That we wanted to educate people in a broader sense. That was the idea. And he selected English medium as a medium of instruction for pragmatic reasons. So, because Mirza Mujid is not joining, so I will switch over to the
Hello?
group. Yes.
Sir, I'm present. Sir, I'm present.
Okay, Mirza Mujid, so that is what I was asking you. Can you recall the exact words that you used when you are comparing Sir Sayyid and Mehdi Mia?
Not exactly.
Not exactly. So, to me, it appeared as if, sir, the choice of the words has to be very careful in such sensitive matters. From your choice of the words, it could have been inferred that you are trying to show Sir Sayyid in poor light in comparison to Mehdi Mia. So that what kind of appropriate words that we use, that is what the issue I discussed, the issue of correctness of the language. Correctness in terms of the choice of the appropriate words. So overall, your performance was rated good, but just on this account, more language, if I put it like this, more language finesse will add to your overall impact on the audience. Okay.
Okay, sir.
So now we had the presentation by Laiba, Aqdas, Aisha, and Mojiz Abbas. So what I liked about this group overall was that they prepared very good and they adhered to the time limit. This was the best part. Naturally, it was a long content covering the entire unit, which we have spent almost 15 periods we have spent. Now, covering it in 15 minutes is naturally a Herculean task, and we cannot cover everything. But having that limitation in mind, both this group especially did a very good job in terms of its time management. So that's my overall comment on the group. Now, Laiba, in terms of language, you appeared very articulate and you have very good command over language. And this was something which impressed.
Thank you, sir.
This was something which impressed me the most. Now, Akhlas, in your presentation, what I liked most was the example that you leveraged to explain your ideas. The example of mobile phone, for example, you talked about. That was a good thing that you did. And this is a good ability of a speaker. Again, this is of some general learning for everyone, that if we can, because these ideas are abstract, theoretical ideas, apparently. But if we are able to link them with an example and then explain the ideas, you will notice in my own teaching style, I make an effort to start with an example. So rather than talking about, let us say, vision, mission, goals, targets, in general, I started with Sir Syed and his vision, something which all of you can appreciate. So Avdas also used this very effectively in his presentation. So well done, Avdas, you also. Now, Aisha, you also did overall a good job. And again, the ideas in terms of correctness, the point that I was making. For example, you said that human skills are required at higher levels. Now, this was the point which we have discussed, that human skills, yes, conceptual skills are required at the higher level more than the lower levels. And technical skills are required more at the lower level than at the higher level. But human skills are important at all the levels. Yes, their focus may change. This is what you may say, that maybe at the lower level, our ability to get along with others matters more. And when we move up in the hierarchy, our ability to take others along matters more, isn't it? Because there we are in a leadership role. So that was the only point, Aisha, which I thought maybe you can rethink on. And then when you were talking about roles, and you talked about the 3 roles that Mintzberg has proposed, please notice that the sequence is extremely important. You know, because Mintzberg has proposed a theory after very careful research which he has done. Very painstaking research, I would say, that he has done. So after interpersonal roles comes the informational roles. Then comes the decisional roles, isn't it? And there is a logical connect in this. So you reverse the sequence. First you talked about the interpersonal, then decisional, and then informational. So that was something which you may just rethink on. Mojiz Abbas, I am very happy with the content that you prepared. And one of the elements of effective communication is being content rich. So your content was very weighty. And in fact, what was even better is that you went even beyond what we have discussed in the class. So in the classical school, I have talked about only the scientific management school and the administrative organization school. But in your review, you also covered bureaucratic management and the Max Weber's ideas on bureaucracy. So that I think was a good addition. So overall, Mojiz, you also did a good job. And now coming to the second group, which was represented by Oniza, Arshi, Muin, Danish, and Adnan Riaz. I think I'm feeling sorry for Adnan especially, because he was the last one to speak, and by the time his turn came, major portion of the time was already consumed by the group, and he had to rush through. So this was something, a very difficult situation for him to handle. So overall, I think the group which prepares for a topic or prepares for a unit recap has to have one rehearsal done at their own level so that they can understand the exact time, make an assessment of the exact time they will end up consuming in the group presentation. One rehearsal is must, group rehearsal. Because perhaps it so happened that some of the group members, especially Oneza, consumed more time. And by the time the others were there to present, the time ran out. In fact, there was no time for the instructors to give the feedback. Leave alone. I could give feedback today, but when your own partners get sidelined in the process, then you have to rethink on this entire thing. So this is one area where I felt the group needs to rethink. But overall, the quality of the presentation in terms of especially the PowerPoint support that they mustered, that was very good. I liked the PowerPoint presentation that they had prepared, pulled together, and must have worked as a group to put it together. So that was the good part of it. Okay. Now, in terms of individual participants, I think Oneza, you have very good command over language. That is your strength. But maybe you have to get feedback from your friends also on this account. Your facial expressions appear a bit tense when you speak. Oneza, are you there?
Yes, sir.
So this is one area where I think you may just have a look at your non-verbal part of the communication. You could have a more relaxed facial expressions while making the presentation. And it appeared as if you are, slightly more worked up for the situation. जब आप माथे पे बल पड़ जाएं when you speak, so that indicates that you are, trying a bit too hard. So this is one area where I think Arshi had very natural facial expressions, and maybe you can draw a few cues from her style on this account. Language-wise, both of you did good. Now, as regards Danish and Adnan Riaz, Danish, what do you think is your challenge? Danish, are you there?
Yes, sir.
So what do you think is your challenge?
Sir, to focus on English.
English, exactly. And especially the diction part of it. Like, for example, now you said English. So sa and sha sounds, I noted. Ja also, you said examples. Likewise, there were many words which you were not pronouncing correctly. So have feedback from your group members. Some of them are quite blessed on this account. So overall, I think in terms of content, your style is very good. But you need to focus more on. I think language part you have very rightly identified. So you have 2 years time and listen to good conversations on BBC, people who have established themselves as good communicators. So after listening to the proper diction, after some period of time, we start, internalizing that diction. So that will help you. And Adnan, what about you? As I said, I was feeling very sorry for you that you had to rush through the entire part. But how do you feel?
Sir, I was very fast
and due to lack of time, the articulation of ideas was not good. I used words in between like. I tried to use like for everything I did like. So that was the problem.
Adnan, this is what we call cliches. You know? Sometimes we use cliche in our communication. Sometimes these cliches, they take the form of pet phrases. So, like for example, I also had this tendency of using like very often in my communication. And उससे कभी कभी प्रॉब्लम हो जाती है क्योंकि एक स्टेज के बाद दूसरे को वो इरिटेट करता है, isn't it? और उसमें हम टीचर्स को तो और भी केयरफुल रहना होता है कि साहब वो लाइक सर आ गए है ना, फिर नाम पड़ जाते हैं इसी. तो you have to control this, क्योंकि एक तो इससे it is not efficient, it wastes time, because cliches don't add to the content. So we use them more as fillers than as content. To avoid that thing to happen. Okay. So overall, I think the group did a good job. So it is ending up consuming time, but I think it is worth it because it is creating engagement in the class. So today I will focus a bit more on the aspects which we have started discussing in Unit 1, and I will also have the second agenda for today. I will brief you about the assignment which has been given to you about manager's job. And I think Dr. Zareen ma'am has already discussed, has already shared the PDF of 2 articles which I request you to read. One is by Katz on skills of an administrator, and then you have that article by Henry Mintzberg, the manager's job, the folklore and the fact. So do read that, and then I will discuss what you have to do at the end of this class. Maybe last 10 minutes we will spend on this. Now, coming to the issue that we were discussing, we have already introduced the concept of goals and goal setting as an important element of planning. And we talked about Sir Syed and his vision. So yesterday some of you were describing what is a vision. What do you, somebody used that, the Hindustani equivalent of it, the soch, somebody said. What is your soch? I think soch is a right word to communicate vision. लेकिन पूरी तरह शायद वो सही नहीं. What do you think if you were to explain or use a English expression for explaining what is vision? What would you say? What is vision?
The foresight.
Foresight, yes, that's a good word.
The aims and objective and the path to achieve it.
Desirable design.
Usman, you are not fully audible. Please, can you restate what you are saying?
Sir, I was saying desirable dream.
Desirable dream, yes.
The worldview.
Kamran says worldview. Yes, that also is a good word.
So the aims and objective and the path to achieve it.
I think path may not be the part of it. Yes, foresight, in fact, the expression that C.K. Prahlad used for foresight, he says your ability to fold the future in. In fact, that is the exact expression that he used to explain what is vision. Vision to him is actually foresight. And foresight is when you see something so vividly that you are able to unfold it in front of your own eyes. You see it, others may not see it, but you see it very clearly. And I again give you an example from Sir Syed's life only. Sir Syed, as you know, was building the institution through community support, and he was raising funds, moving here and there are all kind of instances of the kind of effort that he did to raise funds. But when you raise public funds, you are always answerable to others. People can question your motives. People can question your approaches. So Sir Syed, when he was building this institution, and those of you who have studied it and have seen the central block which was built during his lifetime, starting from the main building, the stretchy hall, the center, and then the buildings on towards the side of masjid that we have. So when the masjid work was started, Sir Syed went to Delhi, and he got the Delhi's mosque measured. And our mosque in AMU is exactly 1/4 of that mosque. But, it is naturally less spacious than that. But by college's standard, it was a huge mosque. So if you look at his own vision, as per his vision, it was less than the Delhi's Jama Mosque. But by college's standard, it was a huge mosque. Because there were very few students in the college then. And the fact of the matter is that when the mosque, this masjid was complete and the prayer was offered for the first time, there were just 7 persons in. So people criticized Sir Syed, and they said he's wasting public funds in creating such huge structures which do not have an apparent full use. It is waste of public money. And there were all criticisms raised for this act. When this criticism reached him and people wanted to have his response, आपका क्या कहना है इस बारे में? When he was pushed to the wall and was forced to comment on it, he just offered one explanation. And he said, मैं जानता हूं कि एक वक्त आएगा जब ये जगह कम पड़ जाएगी. That was his only explanation. So I know a time will come when this space would be insufficient. Now, what is the idea that you get from this instance or this incident from his life?
It tells us about his vision that he saw that this university will increase, and he didn't have small goals.
He was an optimist.
Okay, that's one. That is always there with leaders, actually. Leaders are, the expression that is being used is, leaders are dealers in hope. Isn't it? They keep the hope alive. तो जो अभी मैं एक्सप्रेशन आपसे यूज कर रहा था, देखिए, फोल्ड द फ्यूचर इन, इस कॉन्टेक्स्ट में आप इसे गौर कीजिए उनके जवाब को कि मैं जानता हूं एक वक्त ऐसा आएगा कि जगह कम पड़ जाएगी. People who are blessed with this vision, they are able to see ahead. That's one part of it. But seeing ahead could be straight. In fact, they are able to see beyond. That's more important. An unknown future which others have not seen, they are able to see. That is why I use these two expressions very carefully, seeing ahead and seeing beyond. Seeing ahead is easy, but seeing beyond is what is foresight. And foresight is a combination of our hindsights and insights. A person who is blessed with foresight is one who has a deep hindsights of things. और सर सैयद की पूरी लाइफ को अगर आप स्टडी करें तो आपको वो उनकी जो हिंडसाइट्स थी वो भी कहीं ना कहीं बहुत क्लियरली नजर आएंगी. What is a hindsight? A hindsight, I don't know what is the correct pronunciation. देखिए सर सैयद की जिंदगी में का आप एनालिसिस करें तो आप एक फैसला उनका देखेंगे कि he came from a family which was attached to Mughal nobility. They were respected members of the Mughal court. Sir Sayyid took a deliberate decision to be a junior level functionary with the British government and not get associated with the Mughal court. Does it communicate something about his hindsights?
Sir, he was well versed about the changing dynamics.
Yes. शायद उन्हें यह एहसास हो गया था कि अब सूरज मगरिब से तुलू होगा. Isn't it? He could see the writing on the wall. He must have seen because his Nana was a senior functionary in the British in the Mughal court, and he has seen the grandeur of the Mughal court from inside, because his Nana would often take him to Bahadur Shah Zafar and they would meet and all. But he could see that this civilization is destined to go down, and Britishers will have the commanding presence. Likewise, how insights develop. Insights develop when we get associated with the present very, very intimately. Sir Sayyid, as a functionary of the government, had seen things from close quarters. He was able to keep a tap on what is happening. The psyche of various communities, for example. And for example, he had become a kind of darling of the government on one account, and he had developed an ability to organize relief measures. He was a judicial officer, but often he was entrusted with this responsibility of organizing relief measures, and he was a trusted arm of the government on that account. And those were the days when you all know that there were always some problems like drought or famines, and relief work had to be organized. And Sir Sayyid often volunteered to do that work. In fact, many of his friends he earned through that work, including Raja Jai Kishan Das, who became his very, very close friend. और राजा जय किशन दास के आर्टिफैक्ट्स जो हैं, जो उनके कोठी उन्होंने सर सैयद सारी चीज़ें सर सैयद को दे दी थी. आज भी अगर अलीगढ़ का म्यूजियम जो है, मूसा डाकरी म्यूजियम, आप अगर उसको विजिट करें तो राजा जय किशन दास की कोठी की बहुत सी चीज़ें वहाँ आपको नजर आएंगी. So Sir Syed was deeply involved in the happenings of the day. And that helps develop the foresights of the person. So please remember these three expressions: the hindsights, the insights, and the foresights. अगर सर सैयद की शख्सियत को मैं और इस वाले एस्पेक्ट को if I want to put it together, I came across a very beautiful Urdu couplet for it, and that sums up Sir Syed's personality. And the couplet goes like this: कि माजी की याद, माजी is past, माजी की याद, आज के गम, कल की उलझने, सबको मिलाइए मेरी तस्वीर बन गई. That was Sir Syed. So he had concerns for the future, but he was conscious of the grandeur of the Mughal court. That is why he wrote that book also, as Asarus Sanadid, which is his monumental work on monuments of Delhi. This continues to be a kind of pioneering work on archaeology, where Sir Syed will literally, hang himself through a rope on Qutub Minar and jot down the inscriptions inscribed on Qutub Minar. He was a hefty man. For him to, tie himself with a rope and then read what is inscribed must have been very, very challenging and difficult. But actually that grandeur of the buildings was part of his psyche, had become a part of his psyche. And some of its reflections then you find in the buildings that he created. Especially our Stretchy Hall, which is a very good amalgamation of the British architect and the Mughal architecture that we had during that period. So now let us talk about the vision. We have talked about vision in greater detail, the mission part of it. What is a mission? Mission, as I said, is our contribution, a specific contribution to the society. Because whenever we set out, or if an entity exists, for example, if AMU exists, it exists for a purpose, for an unfulfilled need of the society. And various entities of AMU may have their own specific purpose, which is linked to the larger purpose of the institution. So, for example, our purpose may be linked to the management education. Likewise, life sciences may have a different vision, a different purpose, but the vision remains the same. And vision doesn't undergo change also that frequently. So mission is our unique contribution to the society, because this gives us the reason of our existence. Why do we exist? There is a French expression that people use, raison d'être. What is the reason of our existence? And that reason is our unique contribution. So Sir Syed's mission was to change the educational landscape of the country in general and Muslims in particular. उनको modern liberal education, as we call it, उसकी तरफ आमादा करना, राग़िब करना. That was his mission. Then after mission comes objectives. What are your objectives? Again, that also he articulated in just two expressions, that is Talim and Tarbiyat, which I've already discussed. Talim is education, and Tarbiyat, as we have discussed in greater detail, is overall personality development. Jisme you imbibe in others right kind of sanskar. I think somebody used this expression, very apt expression, giving the right kind of sanskar to others, so that people know how to live life. Objectives are open-ended attributes. For example, Kazmi Saab in his book gives the example of Canara Bank. They said our objective is growth and innovativeness. Now, when you break down these objectives into specific measurable things, they become goals. So when there is a time frame that you specify and what you are going to get in that, for example, when we set out to build the new management complex, it was in 2015 that we were carrying out the discussions, negotiations with the key donor. And at that time, the Vice Chancellor, who was part of the negotiations naturally, the donor asked how much time it would take. And generally the belief was that such a building takes 3 years to complete. The Vice Chancellor said, this is my personal wish that I inaugurate this building. Naturally, the time frame was compressed accordingly, because everybody knew that Vice Chancellor is going to demit the office in May 2017. And everybody understood his wish. It's a fair wish to have, that he has initiated the effort and the building gets completed during his tenure of Vice Chancellorship. So we specified a time frame. So when objective was to create a new building complex for the department. But when we set a goal that the building, or at least the first phase of the building, should be complete, ready to move and inaugurate before May 2017, that becomes our goals. So likewise, for a commercial organization like Canara Bank, the example which I gave, if you have growth as your objective, now growth could be measured in terms of customer base. So you can specify that I want to grow my customer base from, let us say, 1 lakh customers today to 10 lakh customers by the end of this financial year. That is how you can, or growth could be in terms of number of branches that you open up. So objectives are open-ended, goals are close-ended. And that is why they can be measured specifically, because there is a number associated with the goals. Now, when these goals are further broken down in terms of even smaller units of time, maybe quarterly or monthly, they become our targets. So the hierarchy of the strategic intent, which I talked about earlier, the expression that I used on the other term, strategic intent actually could be conceptualized at various levels, starting with vision, mission, objectives, goals, and then targets. This to me is the entire goal setting of the plan. Am I clear? Many questions on this? Because then rest of the time we will spend on the assignment which you are going to do together.
Sir, may I say something?
Yes, Oneza.
Sir, actually, I wanted to bring to your notice that yesterday our presentation got a bit stretched because the network connection was not proper on my side. Otherwise, we have practiced a couple of times.
Mhm.
That's why it got a bit stretched.
Yes, you are right. Initially, you had some connectivity issues.
Yes, sir, it got disconnected 4 times. That's why it got stretched.
When you had practiced, how much time you were clocking?
Sir, 15 minutes. Since we were 4 people, sir, at least 15 minutes would be needed by all 4 of us.
Again, this is for you to work on your. See, this is a very favorite expression of mine. That in life we either have reasons or results, and generally, ours may be a more caring system. But when you join the professional world, people are not really interested in reasons. And they are more interested in results. Okay. So if the result is that you ended up consuming 25 minutes, you may have your very reasonable explanations for it, but it doesn't serve the purpose.
But sir, network issue is something which is not in our hands.
There will always be things which will not be in your control. And despite that, Javed Saab, for example, has a record of engaging the class at 8 a.m. in the morning. Isn't it? And as somebody says very rightly, the results are rewarded, not the efforts. And there have been occasions, very few occasions, again, this is a pattern of behavior which is important. Javed Saab once told me that, he would always reach the department 5 minutes before 8 a.m. But one occasion he got stuck when he started from the home, at the entry point of his lane, there was a hangama, and he took some time to get his car out. And then when he was moving on the road, there was a janaza passing by, so he could not cross it. So he had to stay. That day he reached 5 minutes late. I was so upset that he could not adhere to his time limit. So there will always be things which will not be in our control. Despite that, accounting for all the contingencies, that is a good professional is like. Okay. So just reflect on what else you could have done so that you could have remained within the time limit. So I'm not, putting a blame. I'm just requesting you to reflect. Okay. Now this assignment which you have got, after you read the 2 write-ups, and then there's a third framework of planning, organizing, directing and controlling, which you can read from any of the standard textbook, or we will be sharing the notes. Yesterday, I and Zareen ma'am sat and we were finalizing the notes. So soon you would have them uploaded on the website. So you will have an access to the notes also. So read the theory part of it. And your job is to see how that theory applies in practice. Select a real life manager and try to understand his nature of work. And that is what exactly that Mintzberg did. For example, the managers whom he studied, he would actually sit in their office and observe them working. He would jot down the time they would spend on various activities. So you can ask for their own reflections and you can use your own observations also. Through that, a mix of approaches, your job would be to understand the nature of their work. What are their key challenges? And make an inference on how do they plan, how do they organize, how do they lead their team, how do they inspire them, and then how do they ensure that they are on target, the controlling. The roles which we have talked about, how do they perform their roles, or how these ideas of roles fits into their job. What unique technical skills they required for being effective in their job. So have these three frameworks in your mind and then study a subject, a real life manager, a person who is responsible for substantial number of resources, a good number of people working under his command, and that on that basis try to understand the nature of managerial job. This is the assignment. And from now onwards, we give you the next 10 days to complete the assignment, and afterwards I will request you to submit the written report of that assignment, and we'll find out a way to make a presentation so that we can have group learning also from various subjects that you will study. It's a challenge of doing it online, but we have to do it. The idea is that we should bring the word of practice into our classrooms. Okay. So, do we have final who will be presenting recap tomorrow?
Yes, sir. I have informed. Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. So we call it a day. We have already overshot time by 2 minutes. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.